Hello everyone, you're watching Global Leaders Network, WINTV. I'm your host, Yesoe Yoon. There are many leaders in this world, such as government, non-for-profit organization, business, education, our industry, and etc. Global Leaders Network invite these leaders and share their wonderful stories. Today, I invited someone from Northfield Township. You're the committeeman at TJ Brown.
Yes.
What's your full name?
Well, my name is, I've gone by TJ since I was born. I'm Thomas J. Brown. My dad was Thomas R. Brown, and he was always Tom, so I've always gone by TJ.
I like it a lot. It's short and quick.
Yep, it's easy to remember, and it's a good name to have. And we can get into this later. I ran for Republican committeeman in Northfield Township as a write-in a couple of years ago, and that served me well in that way too, because TJ Brown is a pretty easy name to remember.
Right. What do you do as a committeeman?
A committeeman, and every township in Cook County and every ward in Chicago has a committeeman for Republican and Democratic parties, and what the committeeman does is they chair the party organization in their township, and they organize Republican activity in that township, recruiting new volunteers, recruiting new members, new donors, supporting candidates for office that will be serving the township. And it's vitally important to have choices on the ballot in November, and good choices. And so it's my goal to get quality candidates running for the positions that are up for election to serve our constituents. Northfield Township, for those who don't know, Northfield Township from the west, it's the boundaries roughly the Des Plaines River. There's a forest preserve there, so you could almost say 294 is a rough boundary, and it goes all the way east to the Edens Expressway. We encompass almost all of Northbrook, a sliver of Deerfield, most of Glenview, although Glenview falls into 4 townships. Glenview crosses into Maine. There's a significant part of Glenview in Maine Township. There's a significant portion in Niles Township, and there's a part of Glenview that goes into New Trier Township on the east. I'm not part of the township government. I'm a party official, and it's an unpaid position. I have some statutory responsibilities, particularly assigning Republican election judges for all the precincts for election day. That's an important job.
Very important role.
A quick PSA to anyone out there who's a Republican who's interested in being an election judge, particularly if you live in Northfield Township, reach out to me at tjbrown@northfieldgop.org. I'd love to speak with you and get you trained and on the list of election judges. And then the other piece that I have is sometimes we have to slate candidates. If no one runs in the primary, if there's a vacancy on the ballot, someone has to drop out of the race. I, along with whatever other township or ward committeeman in that particular district, would get together, and with weighted votes based on the number of Republican voters in that area, we would select a replacement. So there are a couple statutory responsibilities I have. There are a number of party responsibilities that I do have.
I see. So why did you decide to run as a committeeman?
That's a good question. The position was going to be vacant in 2018 or 2017, leading up to 2018 election. When the filing period expired, nobody had run. And it was noted to me that there was nobody running for Republican committeeman in Northfield Township. So the last day that you could file as a write-in candidate, I had just learned about it a couple days earlier, and I had decided that I would file to run as a write-in. The main reason for wanting to run was you want to have an elected committeeman as opposed to an appointed one. The way, again, the way it's codified, the county chairman can appoint a vacancy, a person to be a committeeman if there's a vacancy. And I felt that the township organization, to be truly independent, to truly reflect the voters of Northfield Township, it should be without having that appointment if you can avoid it. So that's why I ran. And to win a write-in campaign for the primary, you need to accrue more votes than signatures required to get you on the ballot. So if I had decided to collect signatures and get on the ballot for that position, I would have needed about 258 signatures in the township. So I wound up getting nearly 300 votes, which was enough, and I was elected township committeeman.
It's very successful. And your name, TJ, helped greatly, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Being able to write in an easy to remember, short name that people could go into the ballot box, write it in, not worry about how to spell it, it certainly helped.
We have a lot of Korean, actually, people live in the your township.
Yes.
You know, so, and if they want to actually help the Republican Party in the future, and they have a lot of questions towards, I'm going to ask you about these questions later on, but how can we, Korean people, can reach out to you?
Well, the best way to contact me is to call Northfield GOP at 847-250-6876. It'll ring direct to me, usually. So I'd be happy to speak with you on the phone. You can email me at tjbrown@northfieldgop.org. You can follow us on social media. We have a Facebook page, Northfield Township Republican Organization. You can send us a message there. You can follow us on Twitter. GOP Northfield is the Twitter handle. Reach out to us that way. You can also come to some of our meetings. We just had a meeting in Glenview on the 12th. We're going to have an endorsement meeting in January. It'll be on a Saturday in January. I'm going to have details of that up real soon. And you pay your dues to join the organization, and you can participate in that endorsement session. So those would be the main ways to reach me.
I have another question there, because there are a lot of people actually believe this, like Republicans are racist, and President Trump tried to kick all the immigrants out of this country. And what is your perspective on these statements?
Well, I don't like when people say Republicans are racist or one of those type of sweeping statements. The platform is not racist, and to me, the Republicans that I hold dearest to me, and that's Abraham Lincoln, Ronald Reagan, George H.W. and George W. Bush, Everett Dirksen, Peter Fitzgerald, the former U.S. Senator, Mark Kirk, former U.S. Senator and Congressman, former Congressman Bob Dole, Congressman Peter Roskam. These are not racist people. In fact, the Republican Party, and I know this is 160 years ago, but the founding principle was to curb and eliminate slavery in the United States. And the Republican Party, after the Civil War, was on the forefront of enforcing civil rights legislation and getting the 13th and 14th and 15th Amendments of the Constitution passed. And to me, the Republican Party has been the party of opportunity and of freedom, and of recognizing that a government is necessary, but a government does best when they can recognize that there's a boundary that they really shouldn't cross, and they should give people the freedom to do as they choose. Now, as for President Trump, his rhetoric can swing red hot and gets. I'm not going to sit here and defend the way he speaks or the way he expresses himself. Immigration has been, illegal immigration has been an issue that for the last 25, 30 years, polls have shown that Americans want some enforcement of illegal immigration. And that includes legal immigrants too, by the way. And secondarily, I think people who've become familiar with what the immigration and what the visa process is in the United States recognize that there needs to be reform. And it is so poorly managed and executed, and that there needs to be some reform. But over the last couple decades, the outcry to curb illegal immigration has grown among Americans. And if you were to look at public opinion polling, and after 9/11, people saw that a lot of the 9/11 terrorists had overstayed visas or acquired their visas fraudulently or through fraudulent premises. And I think both parties failed to do anything meaningful. And I think that involves making legal immigration less bureaucratic and easier for people to navigate. And it needs better enforcement. I know a lot of people who live in Arizona. My brother lives out there. And it's a huge issue out there. Part of it is he had a friend whose car was stolen in Phoenix, and car was gone, couldn't have been gone more than 20 minutes. Police showed up about 15 minutes later, so it couldn't have been gone for more than a half hour. The police said that car's probably gone. It's likely that it was stolen and brought into Mexico to be chopped for parts. It's not violent crime, but it's costly. But the tragedy is occasionally they get stories of illegal Mexican or Central American immigrants who are living in a single family home somewhere, and there are like 40 of them living basically in squalor, and are being trafficked into the country to work menial jobs. And because of insufficient enforcement, organized crime has been able to bring them into this country and use them and abuse them, because with the promise of bringing them to America. But it's a form of slavery or indentured servitude, and some of that has occurred. I don't think anybody wants that kind of those kind of incidences to occur, and human trafficking does occur at the border. I don't think that Trump has the will or the intention of removing immigrants from this country. His wife is one. But I think he's seen this, and he's tired of the fact that neither party has been able to initiate any action on something that's acceptable. I can't say I'm as hardline as Trump on building a wall and so forth, but I do believe that our immigration laws need to be followed. I do believe that there needs to be a streamlined process to get a visa and to stay in this country and so forth. And finally, I think that citizenship is something that we should celebrate when people become citizens, but it should be a sacred act, or if that makes sense. There should be some standards for people to become citizens when they become naturalized in the United States, and it should be celebrated.
Right.
So, and it's something the Republican Party has not done a very good job of articulating. And I don't know if I'm the best person to articulate that, but it's been pointed out before that we are a country of immigrants. Whether you're talking about the original Pilgrims, the original Jamestown colony, or if you're talking about other, such as yourself, coming from Korea and starting a new life here. And it's really part of our strength that we have people who have come over here to improve their lives, who are willing to work hard to create a better life for not just themselves, but for their generations after, and be part of this story that America has had for the last 250 years.
I think we make America greater.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree, and I think that's our strength over, in my opinion, that's our strength over Europe, and that's our strength over Asia, is that we have such diversity, and it's culture. The different cultures and different ways of looking at things has helped us achieve more in all of our achievements in the arts, in science, in industry.
Right.
It's been it's our strength. And
what was your dream when you were young? Were you politically active?
I politically active as far as knowing what was going on and having opinions. Yes, I didn't really work on any political campaigns until I was in college. When I was real little, I wanted to play first base or pitch for the Chicago Cubs. That didn't work out. I love baseball. I'm not a very good athlete. But my next choice was I wanted to be a journalist. And I was very interested in that. And that partly helped my interest in politics as well.
Right.
But all throughout school, I wrote for school newspaper in junior high. I wrote for school paper in high school. I loved reading the paper. I think I learned to read reading the Chicago Tribune sports page. And I went to Indiana University in the 90s. I received a Bachelor of Arts in Journalism in 1997. And my first job out of college was assistant sports editor at the LaPorte Herald-Argus, and that's in northwest Indiana. It's just about 30 miles west of South Bend, 20 miles east of Valparaiso. It was an afternoon daily newspaper, which meant you'd be in the office at about 6 a.m., you'd get the paper put together by 11, I'd go have lunch, maybe take a nap, and then I'd be out covering events or working on stories. I did that for 2.5 years, moved back to the Chicago area to work for Pioneer Press in the sports department. Did that for another 2.5 years, which takes you to 2002. At that point, I left Pioneer Press. I was very frustrated with the way the industry and the way the paper was going at the time. As we know, the newspaper industry has really, it's not been a good 20 years for the newspaper industry. I continued to freelance. After leaving Pioneer Press, I volunteered a little bit on a couple campaigns. One was Jack Ryan for U.S. Senate. That didn't work out too well. But in 2010, 2011, right after my son was about 1.5 years old, so it would have been 2011, and I was in a swim class with him at New Trier High School. The New Trier Committeeman at the time needed someone to help do communications for him. So press releases, media contacts, website, that kind of stuff. So I went to help him out for a while, and that's really what got me very involved in politics after that.
What do you do when you have a spare time? I'm sure you're so busy, but
Well, I like to spend a lot of time with my family if I can, and I have 2 children. I have a 4-year-old and I have a 9-year-old, and it's very rewarding as you watch them grow, and so I spend a lot of my time with them and with my wife. I enjoy bicycling. I haven't gotten out as much until my son learned to ride his bike recently, so I'm back out riding again. I used to go out for 20 to 50-mile rides before I had children. I'd just go out on a weekend, and it's a good way to kind of see neighborhoods, meet someone out, ride out to a restaurant, ride out to someone's house, and exercise a little bit. I enjoy golfing. Again, since children, I haven't been able to golf nearly as much as what I used to. I'm a avid baseball fan. I've been a Cubs fan since I was a kid, so it's been a lot of fun the last 5 years watching them enjoy the unprecedented success that they've had. I enjoy all baseball though, so I do enjoy following that, following football and the Bears. I'm a bit of a sports nut, so that's what I do with the spare time that I have. I also have a full-time job, so that I marketing and sales manager for a small company, Mohawk Manufacturing and Supply, which is based in Niles, and we manufacture and distribute bus parts to transit agencies and motor coach operators throughout the United States and Canada. So
a lot on plate.
I do, but it's all fun. I mean, it is rewarding to realize your goals in any of those things, whether it's being able to ride a certain number of miles on your bicycle, whether it's shooting a certain score of golf, whether it's seeing your children succeed at something they've worked on that you've helped them with. It's rewarding to do that, and
so that's your success too.
Yeah, I think that's. I think success can be measured the way you want to have it measured. You can set for yourself what your success, what to you is successful. So if you're not a very good golfer, and these days I'm not, you can set a score in your head and say, well, that's success. I mean, it's not breaking 80. It's not. It's definitely not breaking par. It's not breaking 80. It's not breaking 90 even. But this is success to me in this area. Or maybe success in your free time is just being content and enjoying the fruits of your labor and others.
I like being content. Being content, being grateful, I would say.
And I think that's a fine line, though, because you don't want to become too content and complacent. But you need to always be grateful for what you have in life.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing your old stories.
Well, it was fun to be here. Thanks for inviting me, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah and Happy New Year to all that are watching. And I hope that we all join us in 2020 because I hope to have a very successful political season.
Thank you so much. Thank you for watching Global Leaders Network WINTV. If you want to watch this again, you can watch this through our website and YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe us. And I want to see all of you next Thursday, 9 p.m. Until then, have a great week. Bye-bye, everyone. you.